On to the next myth, this idea that a business already has too much data. Well, that may be true for some businesses, perhaps large enterprises with hundreds of thousands of employees and billions of dollars in revenue. However, not all businesses are reflective of the top 1% massive companies that fit that profile. So those companies have massive data teams and teams of data scientists who are able to regularly synthesize large amounts of data, visualize it, and return it to the business in a way which regularly yields insights. But for the 99% of businesses who can't invest in a dedicated data team or data science team, the alternative should be not to necessarily focus on the quantity of data that you're collecting, but the quality of the data that you're collecting, so that you can have high quality decision making as a part of your organization. So high quality inputs lead to high quality outputs. And with that being said, you should have some kind of philosophy or action plan in place to ensure that you have the right mix of data that you're getting from various sources, which ultimately lead to high quality decision making. Of course, when you're trying to cut through the noise, relying on things like consumer research can be a really useful way for you to drill down into the psyche of the consumers whom you're trying to acquire and serve. And understanding what makes them buy is important. And of course, this isn't a static process. In fact, the best brands in the world do consumer research on a regular basis. So whether you're big or small, it's important to have an iterative approach to your consumer research process to allow you to explore hypotheses on a regular basis. And again, to ensure that you always are keeping your consumers at the center of all of your decision. Quality over quantity, especially if you're a smaller company and not a massive enterprise.
I think that's really interesting, because a few years ago we were all obsessed with big data and how to manage all the big data, and it was all valuable that we had to consume it and know all about it. But actually, a few years on, we're realizing that less can be more, and it's really relevancy that you need to be focusing on.